Te metes a YouTube y tratas de buscar una de las entrevistas de la gente que está hasta arriba en lo que es el equipo de Thetan Arena, no vas a encontrar nada. Primero estamos viendo la primera entrevista literalmente que encuentro de la gente que está en el top de Thetan Arena, de los directores. En este caso es el CMO que se llama Johnny y aquí está en una entrevista y no se ve su fotografía. Entonces, ¿será un scam? Te metes a YouTube, no sale nada, le pones Thetan Arena Partners Interview, incluso en inglés, para ver si sale algo en inglés y no sale ni madres. Y yo así de que, ¿qué? O sea, tengo un chingo de lana invertida ahí, tengo bastante dinero, ¿por qué no vi esto antes? Pero tranquilos, así que lo que les vengo a decir ahorita es que en esta entrevista que acaban de subir, que es la primera que veo donde salen estos güeyes, el juego es muy nuevo también, o sea, me podría estar tranquilo por esto. No es como el G-Host, por ejemplo, que sale como un loco demente haciendo hasta bailes con las Axie Sisters. Pero bueno, en este caso tenemos a Rich Robinson de Animoca Brands. Animoca Brands es la empresa que invirtió en The Sandbox, en Axie Infinity y ahorita en Thetan Arena. Tenemos a un güey de Avocado Guild, que es Avocado Guild básicamente tiene un chingo de becas y ya están desarrollando como NFTs y ciertas cosas así. Y tenemos a Johnny de Thetan Arena. Acaba de desactivar su cámara, pero aquí estaba. Aquí está el brother. Les voy a dejar este video para que lo vean. Este video, lamentablemente, aunque hay 19 millones de personas en el juego, es una entrevista que hicieron de Binance Smart Chain y tiene 4,000 views. Se subió ayer. Creo que esto debería de tener más views, creo que debería de haber más gente que en realidad está interesada en este tipo de contenido, porque aquí es como comunidad nos damos cuenta de qué están haciendo estos güeyes y qué piensan realmente. Hasta el momento de ahorita en esta entrevista lo que se conoce y lo que van hablando de ellos es un poquito de su filosofía de juego, de la filosofía de los juegos NFT. En esta parte Johnny todavía no habla. Así que vamos a escuchar precisamente qué es lo que tiene que decir este carnal y vamos a ir comentando poco a poco todo esto.
We have technology adoption, we have technology introduction, Web3, crypto. Right now, like it's just everything is just kind of aligning, right things at the right place at the right time, and you can see that the iron's hot. You want to beat that iron and shape the future of play to earn or shape the future of Web3. Play to earn is just, in my mind, like an early medium, almost like a portal. If you look at, what's behind me, a portal for adoption of actual Web3 technology. All our scholars who are earning and building communities around all these new play to earn games, in my mind, they're the first generation users of this technology. And I've aligned this thought with them as well, and I've explained it all to them.
Ok, él habla un poquito sobre la creencia que tiene sobre sus scholars, sobre lo que es para él, es un portal hacia lo que es como la libertad económica, al crypto world y a la adaptación de nuevas tecnologías por parte de nuevas empresas. Este güey en esta parte empieza a hablar, aquí empieza a hablar Johnny un poquito, le van a hacer una pregunta.
Like I'll call it the kind of like the grandmother problem. With all due respect to my grandmother, like she can use Facebook to message me quite easily, but can she really download like a browser extension wallet and like custody her keys and make sure that her seed phrase is secured well from the point of genesis? Like I'm not so sure that's really possible. Like I think we're going to need a lot.
Aquí va a empezar a hablar el de Thetan Arena.
Users that wanted the Web2 experience, log in with your favorite social media platform or whatever else, and email or password or whatever that's going to be. I think that's definitely a key challenge, that there's a lot of great engineering teams developing solutions to address these areas, and no doubt that we'll overcome over time. I think another interesting area is around the token economic models themselves and how do those really scale. So we've seen a couple of good examples here. I think the really well-known or the most publicized one is kind of around Axie, and I think the economics around it also have been like captivating for a lot of people. But interesting, and there's been on the other side of that as well some stories that haven't turned out really well. So it's kind of still a process of discovery, I think, in terms of how do you really develop these token economic models for play-to-earn games, especially when there's large user growth and different types of market conditions. So Johnny, would love to hear from you. Like, how did your team really approach that challenge? Like,
Bien.
what were the...
Aquí este güey de Binance Smart Chain, el de Sammy, se le acaba de aventar a este Johnny y le acaba de decir, ok, va, tenemos casos de éxito como lo ha sido Axie Infinity, que si entraste abajo muy bien, si entraste arriba estás jodido, pero bueno, dice, como tenemos casos de grandes éxitos, pero también tenemos casos que les ha ido muy mal. Johnny, ¿cuáles son tus token economics? ¿Cuál es tu economía del token, de la moneda? ¿Cómo vas a enfrentar esto? Y aquí todo responde.
Challenges that you were looking to solve, and how is it going currently?
Yeah, sure. So I think agree with Brandy. So we in a very early stage of Web3, and we see a lot of kind of like barrier of entry from especially from the normal user and then crypto. So that's why when we come up, together with Wolfgang, inside our team, we are debating a lot of models, but then right now we are picking, I think so far, that's also market outstanding, which is mobile plus free to earn. So, I mean, free to earn mean everyone can join. And the first entry is actually, we distribute through the App Store and the Google Play. So everyone can actually really easy to approach to the apps, download the app and play and enjoy the game first before they want to, download the extension and do all the crypto stuff. So that gives them like a feeling of the games, and if they really love that trial, then they tap into the crypto side. So second, I think one of the barrier that we see a lot is actually the stable of the network. I mean the blockchain network, because right now I think we also try to make the game more stable and easy to access to everyone from all over the world. But then I think the blockchain network is actually in also very early stage, where I mean mobile is like continuously when you press and shooting and stuff. It's not real time transaction, and we do need a lighter version of a blockchain network that can have like our mobile games can perform really well. It's in the very near future. I think the third barrier should be the trust of people and also the trust from the government side. Because so far, though that we are actually based in Vietnam, but then because of a lot of the kind of like policy issues, so we cannot really put the server in some country, including Vietnam. So we have a huge wave of China, Hong Kong people coming recently, and they spend a lot, but then we really cannot put a physical server to support those users there. Or like Russia is another example. So if we can have more support from the policy side, that should be perfect. Yeah. For I think the economics, that one is the hardest question that you asked me, and I think everyone is trying to find a way to actually make it correctly. So we are also studying a lot from our investor and also our advisor, and we keep evolving and listen to our community. So far, I think data will tell. So right now we have 1 million daily active users, and 25% of them are actually paying, which is they're buying NFT and investing in our heroes. And the non-NFT, which means the free user, is 70%, 75%. So I think that is quite healthy at the moment. But then for the long run, with our treasury size after a month is 80 million. That 80 million US dollar is the revenue that we put back in the treasury, and it keeps growing. But then I think to make more stable and long-term economics, we need more revenue streams. So next quarter we open up like actually this quarter we open up kind of like guild manager to onboarding more guild to come and support us, and also tournament is coming. And we are open kind of like a streaming network for the streamer to join, and more users for TSC, where user can actually earn that, and then not just buy heroes, but then can use to donate to the streamer that they like, or they can do like betting in the tournament for the team that they really like. Yeah. So yeah.
That's awesome. Like fascinating insights here. Yeah. Pramod would have a similar question for you. Interested to hear some insights around the design discussions and process, and how did you guys come up with the token economics, and what were the key considerations when developing Alien Worlds?
Right. I feel like for most projects within this space, having a sustainable economy is...
Va, ok. Ahora le preguntaron a los de Pradon, pero yo lo que quiero hablarles es un poquito sobre la interpretación de estas cosas que tengo hacia ciertos puntos. El Johnny, el CMO de Thetan Arena, como les digo, por fin habló de estos puntos. Y esto es muy importante porque nos abre el panorama a todos. En primer lugar, tenemos que nos habla sobre los retos del blockchain. Dice que en ciertas temas de infraestructura el blockchain no se ha podido desarrollar de cierta forma para que en los juegos Play to Earn sea como en tiempo real las transacciones. O sea, que literalmente lo que tú puedas ir ganando poco a poco se te vaya pues pasando a tu billetera durante el juego, imagínate. O sea, va a llegar un momento en el que la infraestructura va a ser tan buena que va a estar conectado todo en tiempo real. Y eso es a lo que se busca. Es prometedor, obviamente, es lo que se puede llegar a venir, que es lo bueno, ¿no? Pero lo que tenemos ahorita, pues obviamente tiene que desarrollarse. También habla un poquito sobre la confianza hacia los gobiernos y hacia la gente también. Sin entrar tanto a fondo, creo que por la parte de los gobiernos simplemente está este tema de... habla de Hong Kong y China. Ellos no pueden poner servidores en ese país. Es ilegal, ¿no? Entonces, el poderlo escalar a todo el mundo es difícil. Y ustedes van a decir, bueno, pero tráiganlo a América Latina, ¿no? Chido, que es lo que todos queremos. Está bien, pero también para que el juego crezca, para que haya más dinero dentro del juego, pues tenemos que llegar a estos países de primer mundo, como Rusia también, que no te permiten entrar a esa parte. Entonces, todavía no podemos entrar completamente descentralizado, todavía hay ciertas barreras de entrada por parte del gobierno. Y esto es una oportunidad, o sea, hablando de política, esto es una oportunidad, todo el tema de la Web3, pero también por la parte, por ejemplo, de la confianza hacia la gente, en el tema por ejemplo, hicieron un tema con Polygon que saturaron la red por haber metido bots, entonces ahí también es un pedote, entonces es tanto la gente como el gobierno. Pero bueno, ya no vamos a entrar tanto porque luego me emperro, me enojo y ya no puedo discutir muy bien. Habla también sobre el 25% de las personas que utilizan el juego pagan THC, o sea, personajes NFT para poder tener de vuelta dinero, invierten en el juego realmente. Y el 75% genera el THC de forma gratis, que ya sabemos que Thetan Arena te permite por primera vez en un juego poder generar free to play, free to earn también. Juegas gratis, ganas un poco de moneda. Es difícil, tengo más videos por si quieres verlos, ve a verlos. También habla un poquito sobre cuáles van a ser las nuevas formas, porque el THC ha estado bajando. Para mí es una buena oportunidad de entrada. Sin embargo, muchas personas también se han llegado a salir. Hasta ahorita hay 1 millón de usuarios activos al día. Y son 19 millones de usuarios que han podido recolectar en menos de 2 meses, entonces también lo veo increíble. Y por mi parte lo que les podría decir sobre estos puntos es ¿cuál es lo que van a hacer ellos para la quema de THC? Bueno, van a hacer quema de THC y generación de THC. Vas a poder apostar por equipos. Como sabemos, Thetan Arena es un juego de equipos, entonces lo que están intentando implementar para este cuarto del 2022, para este primer cuarto, es poderle meter apuestas a lo que son nuevos equipos, buenos equipos. También vas a poder meter y hacer donaciones a tus streamers para que van a poder habilitar la parte de streamers, que va a ser muy bueno eso porque, pues, por ejemplo, yo tengo muchos becados de Venezuela que son muy buenos y hay mucha gente ahí afuera con talento que tenemos que encontrar y van a poderles abonar un poquito, $10, $20 al mes. Al menos a mí se me hace que es suficiente por entretenimiento, aunque puede llegar a ser más y te puede permitir llevar comida a la mesa. Después de ahí vamos a hablar, le preguntan a Pramos, vamos a saltarnos esa parte. Quiero ver un poquito donde habla de nuevo Johnny.
Structure today really for the sustainability. expect to see happening within gaming guilds besides just like renting NFTs? Like, is membership going to become more competitive? What are other things that we could expect to see happening there?
Look, as everyone's aware, I'm sure you guys know there's plenty of gaming guilds in the market these days, and they've raised significant amounts of money. Spaces, there's a lot, but one thing they're still short of is kind of like players. What I can share is like my own vision of a gaming guild, which is what Avocado is trying to build. What we want to do is quite simple. We want to be able to provide opportunities for our scholars to earn in these play-to-earn games. So Web3, decentralization, blockchain, there's an element of token ownership, and you can yield that. So we want to make that possible, but in a sustainable way. I understand that sustainability hasn't fully been solved yet, but everyone's working hard at it. We're still very, very early to this. But what else is really a gaming guild? It's really a huge community of people that have come together to build on top of blockchain, right? So a lot of the people in gaming guilds, they don't really understand what this technology is. Some of them are gamers, some of them are just normal people, some of them are like family and friends of gamers that have decided to come into the space because of the opportunities that are here. We see ourselves as a shelter, almost as a vehicle. We want to help educate them. We want to hold their hands and help them navigate the whole crypto space. I'm not saying that I'm going to train the next generation of DeFi degens, okay? I'm just saying that like we're really just trying to train them about, as you mentioned prior, with Facebook, with Google, everything's synced up. You just press connect with one button and you're synced up. But in crypto, it's not like that. In crypto, when you have your wallet key, something as simple as don't take a screenshot of that, you'd be surprised how many people don't understand this. Write that down, keep it somewhere safe. Decentralization is giving ownership back to you, but people are so accustomed to infrastructure that makes their life a little bit easier.
Side on the application side, and there's going to be like adjacent domains like DeFi, for example, that will be foundational building blocks. But if you think about from a domain perspective, where could that large user growth come from? Is it going to be DeFi, tens of millions users, potentially hundreds of million users, maybe half a billion? I'm not so sure. But gaming, I think, has a very clear path to easily hundreds of millions and then eventually a billion of users coming into crypto. So on that perspective, I think definitely gaming guilds have a critical role to play in terms of, at least now when we still have various issues around UX and several friction points, does require a bit of hand-holding for some types of use.
Nosotros como comunidad tenemos que empujar a que estos equipos empujar y ayudar a que estos equipos realmente puedan lograr la sostenibilidad de las monedas, por ejemplo el SLP en Axie Infinity, porque esta es la primera vez que nosotros como usuarios, la primera vez que nosotros dejamos de ser usuarios y nos apoderamos realmente de los activos digitales. Antes tenías que comprar un disco y era tu disco, pero tu disco no iba a valer más, o tu disco de juego no te iba no era propiamente tuyo. Ahora está propiamente tuyo en tu wallet, está en la blockchain y te permite ganar dinero que no tienes que pagar para el, no lo voy a decir porque algoritmo, pero sí, gobierno. Y bueno, esto es increíble. Entonces, pequeña pausa. Vamos a seguir buscando la entrevista de este güey.
Just Axie, right? And, in the future, there's going to be really jobs.
Ahora va a hablar Rich Robinson, que es de Animoca Brands, como les dije, de los inversionistas de los juegos NFT. Entonces, es importante entender esta visión.
Of millions and then eventually a billion of users coming into crypto. So on that perspective, I think definitely gaming guilds have a critical role to play in terms of, at least now when we still have various issues around UX and several friction points, does require a bit of hand-holding for some types of users to be able to come into crypto and get them started. I think that's a really key metric to be looking at. Rich, really interested to hear your perspectives around that as well. I know Animoca has a very rich background around supporting user growth, including in the gaming guild space.
Certainly, yeah. And I mean, that's, personally for me, to be able to do well while doing good, meaning I believe that there is going to be this seismic societal shift in the next 10, 15 years, accelerated by COVID, which is AI and automation are going to gut hundreds of millions of jobs. And what's gonna replace that? I never had a good answer until last year, and it's gonna be all the work that my fellow panelists do, is basically employing people around the world to manage digital assets in an exciting way that can supplement and even completely replace their income. So, I mean, that's a mission and a vision that I can really, really get behind. And I became a pandemic refugee with my family here in Bali, Indonesia, during Chinese New Year. I've been here 2 years now. It's my anniversary. And I have a guild here, right? Just because a small one, you have a choice. You can make sourdough bread, learn how to play the ukulele, or start a gaming guild during COVID. And I chose to do a gaming guild, but just so I could understand what's going on. And people can make as much money as they would changing motorcycle tires as they can playing just Axie, right? And in the future, there's going to be players that will have multiple screens and multiple roles, managing land, managing other people, playing multiple games. And it's going to enrich and enable, if you think that in the developing world, somebody can support 5 to 8 people, depending on what country they're in, like if you get 150 million people doing play to earn, then you got 1 billion people on the planet that are living better lives. I mean, it's really a really big deal. And then you also see here, like I'm based in Bali. Of course, I'm American, a white dude, but I spent 24 years in China. Like Web3 is happening in Asia, and then that's distributing itself around the world to all these developing markets. And it's super exciting. And I've heard Gabby from YGG talk about guilds as kind of like the onboarding mechanism for the metaverse, because everybody's really excited about decentralization and
I don't know. Like I was wondering to hear more about it. Like, is there a balance? Can it be just play to earn and fun at the same time, or is it some part of it?
Our phones doesn't mean I don't go see my friends. You know what I mean? I see technology.
Not as much fun, especially when you have lots and lots of people playing and. I don't know. Like I was wondering to hear more about it. Like, is there a balance? Can it be just play to earn and fun at the same time, or is it some part?
But I want to let somebody else answer this, but I want to jump in. Someone's like, "Is Axie as fun as League of Legends?" I don't know. It depends. But the question is Axie as fun as changing motorcycle tires? Yeah, it's way more fun than driving. This guy that I work with. 75 minutes, rain, sun, go to the place, change motorcycle tires, noisy streets, right? Has to eat, food that he brought with him, and then go all the way back in the dark and terrible weather. Or he just stays at home and he plays Axie and he can, play with the kids and, eat at home, take a nap, whatever, right? It's like that is not even, that's the question, right? And like in the future, these games will become so much more fun. Like I think that's the main question to ask. So anyway, I'll stop there.
I want to add.
Ok. Va. Este güey habla sobre el cambio social, sobre todo lo que se viene con la Web 3, que es lo que les digo, que finalmente somos como dueños de nuestros activos. Y en el cambio social habla sobre Ok, yo difiero un poquito, pero este güey básicamente dice que algunos juegos como X Infinity, por ejemplo, podrían llegar a ser aburridos, pero que al final de cuentas te deja un poco de dinero y, por ejemplo, te deja dinero igual como el güey que cambia llantas en la calle con un chingo de ruido y que tiene un trabajo bien mierda, básicamente. Ok, entiendo su punto, pero este güey que cambia llantas y la verga está generando pues un impacto en lo que llamamos como el mundo físico, ¿no? Esto es entretenimiento, creo que al final de cuentas se debería de ver así como entretenimiento. Al final de cuentas puede llegar a ser un trabajo, sí, pero obviamente se va a complementar siempre con cosas del mundo de la vida real, con el mundo físico, ¿no? También, si lo vemos por parte de llegar a ser un trabajo, se podría llegar a ser un trabajo, pero lo más importante aquí es la parte de la economía. Entonces, Pues bien, un poco ambicioso y muy materialista este güey, la neta.
So let's use Axie, for example, right? You've only got X amount of energy, it takes 2-3 hours to play Axie. Everyone in my guild knows it's something that you kind of play supplementary. You know, when the market's doing well, of course you can make a lot of money, much more than changing tires. But look, I don't know how to change my tire. I still need someone to change my tire, man. You know, like in the end of the day, like I see play to earn as like a growing, like a new market.
Dice como, güey, yo, o sea, aunque sea más divertido que cambiar llantas, yo todavía necesito a alguien que me cambie llantas. Es lo que les digo, o sea, en la vida real nunca no podemos suplentar, no podemos ser tan radicales en este sentido.
I don't think it's like really.
Ok, en esta parte le vuelven a preguntar a Johnny básicamente qué es lo que él opina con la parte de balancear un poquito el juego en términos de diversión, ¿sí? De play to earn, ¿sí? Y con la parte física de la vida real, por así decirlo. Y bueno, para hablar un poquito sobre estos puntos que acaban de tocar anteriormente.
Johnny, would love to hear from you on this topic. Like, how is the balance between play to earn, the fun element, and the grind element? Like, is there a balance? Does there need to be a balance? Would love to hear from you on that.
Yeah, sure. So I think I love a quote from one of my friends playing Thetan Arena is that the most balanced things is the thing that not imbalance, which means that I think in nature happen the same. Not everything can be balanced, but if you invest more time, if you invest resource in anything, you can be expert on that one. So I think it happened the same to any user on Web 3.0 and also on blockchain and also blockchain game. So I think back to the basic, we want everyone to have fun. So I think that's the key elements that would have to actually balance all of the orders. And second is we try to build and empower the one that can invest in the content from the very early stage, and then try to balance that with the new user coming in through our streamer and community events. So continuously doing that and balance, we actually found out that a lot of our time is actually putting in, try to balance the game. But I think one of the things that we learned is the user actually want to pay and spend with the game or with the projects that actually produce enough content for the game and make them to play fun and also at the same time can earn enough. So I think right now our team is really focused on the products. That's why you can see a huge of the user growth, and right now the balancing we leave that in the good hands of our guild partner. That they try to actually have coaching and onboarding new user also for us, and also for the streamer that they work with us from the very beginning. Now they're starting to have their guild also, so we give a lot of support from them, and we try to give the kind of like balance things to our partner. Where our team is right now is really focused on how to make the game more fun, how to add more features, and how to bring in more revenue stream from the real world. Like right now, we partner with Logitech in Vietnam to roll out Thetan merchandising, where everyone firstly can do like kind of like a lucky draw things, and they can earn a real headset. And we see a huge success in here. So right now we are talking to more brands and onboarding them to our games, and more and more a brand will come and more revenue stream in. Our treasury will be bigger, and I think that one everyone happy, and that's going to be sustainable. So that is my answer.
Awesome.
Ok. Yo no veo una respuesta como tal extremadamente concreta. Es obvio que todo es bien nuevo, carnales, así que pues no sé. No tienen como la respuesta porque pues nadie ha logrado tener una economía sustentable en un juego play to earn. Pero los puntos que dice es que lo que tratan de hacer es un juego bien divertido, lo que ellos quieren hacer es un juego bien divertido, se enfocan en el producto. Esto yo lo escuché, por ejemplo, de Siori en Lisboa, cuando lo conocí, en la semana de Solana Blockchain, dijeron también, nos enfocamos en el juego, es un juego divertido, queremos que sea un juego divertido principalmente, más allá de que sea un trabajo y que sea una parte de economía. Vean los resultados que están teniendo ahorita, o sea, en ese entonces el SLP estaba al 5 veces el valor que está ahorita. Lo que está ahorita realmente es una mierda, ya mucha gente se salió, el juego se ha vuelto más, como que más tensión, no sé, no me gusta. Creo que la parte económica realmente se tiene que tomar muy seria, porque es mucha gente la que está invirtiendo dinero, o sea. Entonces, se enfocan en esto del producto. También quieren empoderar a los primerizos, a las primeras personas que entraron. Pues de hecho, hasta ahorita, en 2 meses de juego, los primeros que entraron están bien jodidos porque ya perdieron todo su dinero. Van a recuperar a menos de que vuelva el precio, a menos de que haga un 5x ahorita, mínimo. Pero bueno, espero que si acaba de hablar de esto, tal vez en algún momento dejen de vender NFTs y solo los puedan vender los que los compraron al inicio, no sé. A mi parecer creo que algo se debería hacer para que apoyaran a los que estuvieron ahí desde el inicio. En segundo lugar, habla sobre hacer mucho contenido, habla sobre hacer partnerships con los que creen contenido, por eso van a ver la parte de los streamers. Y en Vietnam se hicieron partner con Logitech. Logitech es una empresa de tecnología que hace productos de tecnología, bocinas, cámaras, etc. Y está haciendo productos de merchandising de vida real. Y los van a vender con su moneda también, para que haya también una quema y la comunidad esté consumiendo constantemente. Eso es lo que busca, que con el THC tú puedas comprar distintas cosas para así que se pueda estar quemando normalmente. Así que vamos a seguir con la entrevista para concluirlo con lo que dicen.
I think one last topic to cover before we start wrapping things up is interested to hear your guys' perspectives on the convergence between the traditional game developers and Web3 and crypto games. Do they have to come? Are they coming today for the guys that don't develop crypto games? Are they going to have to start changing the game economic models and their business models? Is that going to be impacted? Rich, maybe we'll start with you to get your insights on that.
We all, would hope that, Alexis Ohanian, he's a big founder of Reddit. He's a big investor on the Web3 space. And his prediction is that 90% of all games within 5 years will have a really strong, they'll be on chain. And, once people actually get a taste of ownership, then it's really difficult to go back. And I think right now there's some pushback and some resistance from the player community, among some communities. I think that typically in a new market, there are some incumbents that are able to adapt well and make the change. And there's a lot of new players that are very focused on the new sector and can really grow it out. And I think, for something like this, I really believe you have to be all in. You have to fully believe in the whole, vision of what, on-chain games can be. And I think to, fully embrace it and to, really try to build out the ecosystem. I think that's our strategy. We know that we can't own it. We can't be, just a dominant player in just one game and be a really big player in the gaming space. We have to be a good member of the ecosystem and help to grow it all out. And I think, naturally we're going to be moving towards that. I think it just kind of makes logical sense. And that's why I'm all in personally.
Yeah, awesome. Brendan, we'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Do you think we're also Web3 or nothing? Like, what kind of time frame do you think that's going to happen, if you think that's going to happen at all?
First of all, I think Web3, one thing people kind of, just back to the last question a little bit, it's very community driven, It was like, it's not so much just play a game to earn money, that's important. But in the end of the day, like my guys, they play for 2-3 hours, but they hang in the Discord for like 5-6 hours. Back when I used to play World of Warcraft, like going on World of Warcraft was kind of like an excuse. I was really looking for my friends to say hello to. So I think community is a massive driver. And in future play to earn games, we're going to look at what we see in traditional games, content creation, community driven content, like that's going to be massive. And that's really what's going to get the majority of people involved and really thinking, oh shit, this is crazy. Okay, now back to your question. Is crypto, what's going to happen between play to earn games and traditional games? I think the question is, do you believe? Does anyone here today believe, even in the audience, is crypto going away? That's the question, okay? If we don't believe that crypto is going away and it's not going to die, then it doesn't necessarily mean that it's mass adoption, but it's going to hang around. And naturally, let's look at this as a real-world example. We've got electric cars nowadays, very efficient, okay? They don't consume petrol. They're slowly kind of climbing in the market, but a petrol car is totally gone. There will always be people that find a certain attraction to petrol cars. It's a different type of technology. It's got its own charm. So maybe my idea of the future is they're both going to go hand in hand, but it's likely that you're going to see a mass adoption of blockchain-based games. The reason is quite simple. There's money to be made in the space. Technology is still very, very early in my mind, which means there's plenty of room for adoption. I think some of the issues that people would have to deal with is, like crypto, huge barrier to entry. That's not just for normal people, but that's also for regulations and governments and things like that. But I think these are problems that, as always, eventually get resolved. So I'm very bullish on all of this.
Definitely agree with you. Agree with all of the points you're making here. So we're just coming up to the end of time. So maybe we'll just go around quick. It will be great to hear from you guys. Any kind of major updates the community and listeners can look forward to. What's on the roadmap? What's the great things coming in 2022, and also where the listeners and community can go to get the latest updates, whether it's Twitter, Discord, wherever. Maybe we'll start with Pramod.
Right. Thanks, Sammy. For Alien Worlds, we have our roadmap divided in near to midterm, and long-term goals. So we recently launched our revamped user interface. Like I mentioned earlier, we are also working on integration with non-blockchain games via a modding community. There's a fighting game which is in pipeline. And we also have a land component within Alien Worlds. And we are expecting to be launching further features and a new land roadmap very soon. And we also have a DAO aspect within the game. This is also currently in the pipeline and is being worked on priority, where the 6 planets within the Alien World metaverse will be individual DAO entities, where and other social query period. And our Telegram, you will find the links to our Discord and Telegram and other social media platforms on our website, which is alienworlds.io.
I'm planning a lot of stuff. I don't want to reveal too much, and at the same time, don't want to make promises I can't keep. We recently tokenized, and we become Avocado DAO. We want to be for the community. I'm trying my best to work on unique staking features that will come in future. I know everyone's always asking me about stuff like this, but I think guilds will be it's so new. You know what I mean? I don't want to release something that doesn't make sense. Okay, sometimes in crypto that kind of happens. I'm just trying to work my way around really releasing something that's sustainable. Because if it's sustainable, the real life people that represent my scholars, they can be looked after, and the guild can go on and really build something great. So, but as with all things, it takes time. I know there are some games that take 3-4 months and they're blasted out, but for us, we're just trying to navigate the space a little bit more carefully. But whatever I do, at the end of the day, we're trying to build that value for the ecosystem, and we're trying to make sure that our communities and scholars are looked after. So, yeah, I know that doesn't say too much, but we're working on it. We're trying to bring more value to the space as a whole.
Awesome. So we got to just stay tuned. And we know there's lots of amazing things coming out to look forward to from Avocado Guild coming super soon. Thanks a lot. Rich, over to you.
Yeah, so last year I think we did 120 deals, either investments or full acquisitions. Everybody's face on here we did some sort of deal with. We love supporting the ecosystem, but internally fully owned subsidiaries. We have Sandbox, some really fun, exciting stuff coming out of there. Rev Tower, also Phantom Galaxies. We bought a studio called Blowfish Studios. Phantom Galaxies is going to be launching. Real excited about that. We're also going to be launching an accelerator for guilds. There's a lot of big players like Avocado and YGG and Merit Circle, but there's a lot of micro guilds that probably have 9 to 12 scholars. But there are some right in the middle there, and we want to help grow the entire ecosystem. So we have a partner called Brink, BRINC.io, and you can see an announcement coming up. It's a little bit of an early preview. I'm going to be running that accelerator for the guild. So if you're sort of in that sweet spot, take a look within this month. And I'm also going to start a player-earned podcast. I want to have every one of you individually on it, talking about the business and the philosophy and the macro and micro of play to earn. And I'm just really excited about that.
Awesome, looking forward to it. Thanks a lot. We also launched recently the joint investment program between the BSC fund and Animoca brand, so we'll expect to see a lot of great news coming out of that as well. Johnny, last but definitely not least, we'd love to hear more about Thetan. I've been playing a lot recently, love the game a lot. Looking forward to what your team's going to be shipping in the coming weeks.
Ahí va a hablar de nuevo el Johnny, así que pónganse al tiro.
What do we look forward to?
Sure. So I think as I also been sharing, so Q1 we are building a remote system to support guild named Guild Managers. So rolling out hopefully in the next in this quarter. And we also this quarter we're rolling out a more use case for our TSC, which is cosmetic system. And for the game content, we are rolling out the battle royale mode, which a lot of people are actually waiting. So like right now in Q1, 42 players can play at the same time, and having even more fun for gameplay. So Q2 we are rolling out another usage for our TSC, which is a pet system, and also for the guild quest that right now the guild can having their own leaderboard and then their own quest. Q3 is more corporate for games coming, and we are opening up the guild worlds. So when guild members getting bigger and bigger, so they not just need kind of like mini local tournament, also between them they need kind of like guild worlds and tournaments. So we are also opening that on this Q3, and also the streaming system. So because we receive a lot of requests from the streamer that they want not just streaming on YouTube, streaming on Twitch, but also streaming on our own platform. So that also opening up another use case for the TSC. Q4 is a big tournament that is coming, and also donation for the streaming. I think that's one of the key things myself. And along the roadmap, we are opening up more partnership with like brands and those that would love to explore, and advertise to the user. So that's going to be on the pipeline. But the goal is to bring more and more use case for the TSC and generate more revenue stream for our user who actually stacking right now and enjoying the share from our treasury. Yeah, so that's basically the plan for this year.
Awesome, super awesome. Looking forward to Battle Royale. Definitely can't wait to try that out.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you guys. Thanks a lot for joining. Really appreciate you all coming on, sharing fascinating insights.
Ok. Conclusiones, mis amigos. Esta última parte, lo que dice el buen Johnny es que lo que se está buscando es que generalmente se cree un nuevo uso del THC. Eso es lo que se quiere. Entre más usos del THC, como les dije anteriormente, él lo repitió, lo estoy repitiendo yo también. Ustedes también lo van a repetir. Es de que se use más el pinche THC, ¿ok? También algo de lo que dicen es que están buscando hacer un acelerador de guilds, un acelerador de escuelas, de scholars, ¿ok? De los que se encargan de dar scholars, de los que se encargan de dar becas, van a estar invirtiendo los Animoca Brands. Así que si tú tienes un equipo de gente con lo que te puedes juntar a jugar, adelante, yo tengo mi team, los quiero un chingo. Saludos a todos, por cierto. Si están viendo ese video, perros, los amo. También tengo aquí hablando un poquito sobre el cripto. También los de Animocas Brands hablan un poquito sobre el cripto. Dice que el 90% de los juegos van a ser blockchain en 5 años. Mínimo van a tener una parte blockchain. Mínimo que puedas tener tus avatares que realmente sean tuyos. Como conclusión, amigos, yo les quiero decir una cosa. Creo que las dos cosas, el cripto, el mundo cripto, lo que es Bitcoin, lo que es Ethereum, todas las monedas, están muy de la mano con lo que es el videojuego. Se juntaron, se complementan. Si a los dos les va bien, nos va a ir muy bien a los dos. Si uno trae más, va a haber más en el otro. Si el otro trae más, va a haber más del otro. Y eso es una muy buena mancuerna que puede haber. También tengo aquí un comentario más, es acerca de la comunidad. La comunidad lo es todo. La comunidad de los videojuegos ha llegado para quedarse. Hay personas que literalmente entran a estos juegos porque ya hicieron amistades, porque ya conocieron gente chida. Y yo me siento muy agradecido de poder decir que también lo estoy viviendo. Así que eso es todo, amigos. Cuídense. Bye. Por cierto, si te gustó este video, si sentiste valor, por favor apóyame compartiendo este video, suscribiéndote, que quiero llegar a más gente. Chao.